Senator Gary Peters, welcome to The Story Is.
Great to be with you.
This is a big week for you. You were the top Democrat on the Homeland Security Committee hearing Markwayne Mullin. Is Markwayne Mullin an upgrade over Kristi Noem?
I would say, he wouldn't. If it's an upgrade, it's because it's an extremely low bar.
Okay.
But still, I don't believe that he's qualified and really has what we need for the next secretary, and therefore I voted no.
How do you think the policies of the Department of Homeland Security change with him, if at all?
I don't think they'll change at all, because we saw that certainly with Secretary Noem. I think it's going to be the same if he ends up being confirmed. You basically haven't run out of the White House. You have Stephen Miller that's calling most of the shots, and so the policies that we had, that the Trump administration had in the past, are going to be the same. He's going to be a figurehead.
What's your biggest objection to him? Why do you think he's not qualified?
Well, a couple, but one is his temperament. And the fact that right now what we need for a secretary is to really rebuild trust with the Department of Homeland Security. That trust has been shattered over the last few months, and gaining trust back is important, and it takes time. And here we have a gentleman who, even in a Senate hearing, got up and wanted to have a fight with one of the witnesses, has a temperament of being somewhat of a hothead, and that's not someone who should be overseeing ICE officers and CBP at a time when we want to actually have the temperature come down.
Didn't he mend fences with the guy that he almost got into a fight with, and he's there backing him up?
Well, he did, but the behavior that he exhibited there was simply unacceptable.
Yeah. It comes at a very interesting time for the Department of Homeland Security. Obviously, there's this fight over funding.
Right.
Where are we at in terms of the negotiations on that? Are we close to a deal?
Well, I don't think we're that close, which is a concern when it comes to just having guardrails in place. So I think there's two elements here to talk about. First is what we want as Democrats. We want to have common sense guardrails when federal officers are on the streets of our cities, like Los Angeles or Minneapolis, and that they should have the same rules that local police have, same rules the local police in LA have. That seems like common sense. Republicans aren't willing to do that, so we're saying we don't want to give any more money to CBP and ICE. So let's be clear, both of those agencies are fully funded. Mm-hmm. They were funded last year in the big bill that passed. The other parts of DHS haven't been funded, and we want to fund those. That's TSA, FEMA, CISA, which is our cyber agency, and the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
We've put bills on the floor just to do that. Pay them. They're not part of this negotiation. We've put those bills 7 times on the floor. They have to be unanimous consent because the Senate is run by the Republicans, not us. But they will pass unless they're objected to, and every time Democrats have put those on the floor, Republicans have objected. We could pass it tonight. I could go and put a UC bill to make sure TSA is fully funded, and if Republicans didn't object like they have the past few times, it would be funded.
I mean, what's the objection?
What's the what?
What's the objection?
There shouldn't be an objection. The objection is that they basically want to use them as hostage. So you'll see them out there talking about, look at these long lines at TSA, just vote for all of these different agencies. There's no reason we have to do that. And basically they just don't want to put in common sense protections and things like search warrants, that you have to have a judicial warrant. Before someone knocks down your door, they should have a judicial warrant. That's a constitutional item, and yet they're not unwilling to put that in.
Meanwhile, that's happening. We've got the war with Iran, which is why some of the Republicans say we got to fund everything. But where do you see the war right now? President Trump says it's making us safer. We're getting rid of the #1 sponsor of terrorism around the world.
Well, we're right now, I don't know where we are. It's difficult to know exactly where we are. We don't get that kind of information from the administration. But what we do know is now, because the Straits of Hormuz are closed, that we have an energy crisis that's been really, folks have said, is probably the most significant energy crisis we've had. Gas prices are up. My home state of Michigan, gas is roughly $4 a gallon. That's up about $1 from where it was a long time ago.
In California, we wish we would have that.
Well, I'm sure.
You guys make the cars. Go ahead.
We make the cars, and I'm sure your gas is way up too.
Yeah.
But for Michigan, when you have $1 increase in a gallon, whether it's California or if it's Michigan, that impacts average families in a major way. And so those costs are going up. That's what I'm hearing. And we need to figure that out. And quite frankly, I'm a little surprised from my discussions in the Armed Services Committee that they didn't really have a full plan when this war started, which is unacceptable.
What leverage do you have?
Well, they're coming to look for money. The president today or Secretary Hegseth talked about a $200 billion appropriation, and it's interesting. They say we're going to go back to Congress to get money. I have to remind them they never came to Congress to actually get authorization as required under the Constitution, and now they're coming for more money.
We'll see how that fight goes. Senator Gary Peters, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.